I'm going to talk about being divorced. Was married for 25 years and got divorced. And if I have any advice for anyone who is in that boat, if there's any chance of reconciliation, don't do it. If both parties are willing to work it out, don't do it. Being single and being single, because of course we're divorced, we're single, is so difficult. It's not just the end of 25 years. It's like the ripping away of a lifetime. I mean, 25 years, that's a long time. And, there's vacations and there's holidays and there's birthdays and there are experiences. And here's the thing. You go through the whole, I can't be married to you anymore, to the divorce process, which is the separation of the house and the kids and all the things. And you go through all of that. And then you get into this dating space. Okay.
In today's video, we'll see how this woman comes to regret her 25-year marriage ending and how her dating life after the divorce doesn't go very well. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue with the story.
And the last thing the new person wants to hear is about your divorce, about who you were married to, about all of those things. And so all of a sudden you're not just married and you're not just, going through bad marriage and going through divorce, but now you're in a relationship and you can't talk about the last 25 years of your life, because then it becomes comparing, I guess. It becomes, I don't want to hear about them, or, so what do you talk about? 25 years just evaporated into the thin air. You go to places and you can't really say, oh, I've been there, or, oh, I've done this, or what do you talk about? Because your past up until that moment involved someone that you've been with for 25 years. You start talking about birthdays and experiences, and you have to leave out a section of it that involved a person. It's a very challenging time to date when you were married, and there's no conversation to be had. And it's true. I wouldn't want to be listening to their ex and the things that they did, and I went here and I went there, and it's all about that. But it's years of being with a person. What do you do? The struggle is real. I'm just putting it out there. So what do you do? What do you talk about? It's like almost like you don't have anything to talk about, especially if you don't want to be talking about your ex. Just saying, what do you do?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You can't erase 25 years of your life as if they never happened. But many women leave a marriage convinced by the fantasy that the grass will be greener on the other side, without realizing they're leaving behind someone they already knew deeply to step into total uncertainty. That uncertainty might mean meeting someone who's also coming out of a divorce, carrying emotional baggage, or not looking for anything serious. On top of that, she's older now, around 50, likely dealing with some health issues and possibly seeking financial support as well. Just imagine this. If you meet a divorced man, he's clearly not going to want to take on your problems either. But she still has more truths to share.
Being divorced in your 50s is a lot different than being divorced in your 30s or 40s. In your 30s or 40s, you're like, I'm out there, I'm dating, I'm going to clubs, I'm hanging out with my friends, and you're doing a thing, and probably raising kids if you had kids, and baseball games and such. When you're in your 50s and you get divorced, it's like, I just want to stay at home in peace. No fighting, no chaos, no disruptions. That's divorce life in your 50s. There's not a whole lot going on. You want to grab a glass of wine and sit at home and do nothing. It's really different. It's kind of like, who knows if I will ever meet someone, because you got to get out in the world. And I'm just not interested in all that. Anyway, so you tell me, when you're in your 50s, do you go out and have a good time, or do you stay home in the peaceful silence?
She's right. She doesn't have the same energy. She doesn't have the same life anymore. And on top of that, your social circle is very likely shared, or it may even be your husband's circle of friends. Now look at the pattern I keep saying is common today in this country. Every time a man is close to retirement, the woman decides to file for divorce. Just when you're finally going to have time to go out and do all the things she asked for while you were working, she chooses to leave and chase a new adventure with another man, destroying you in the process. Because those divorces are extremely expensive for men, they can leave you completely broke.
Getting divorced after 25 years. Do you realize that my kids are grown? I'm not married, I'm single, and like, you have friends, but it's like, and we sit home, we don't do it. But I don't even know what to do with myself. Like, I raised kids and was a wife. I'm just like, it's like being a teenager or something again, like, but with money, if that makes sense. Like, remember when you had no responsibility, so to speak, and you were in high school and you kind of did whatever you wanted to do and you hung out with your friends, but you were broke. But now I'm divorced and I'm single and kind of hanging out with my friends and doing whatever. But this time I have money. I'm just saying. Okay. That's all I want to say. Love you. Bye.
Stop it. Get some help.
You heard it, with money. Most likely alimony that the husband now has to pay. The house probably stays with her. The kids support her. She gets a new life. But as a man, all you're left with are the consequences of her new life. Now you're the one financing her new adventure, because she'll take half of your money and assets. And you, at an age where you can't work the same way anymore, have to figure out how to start over in such a difficult stage of life. That's why in places like China, divorce laws are being changed, because this trend of "I leave once you retire" is destroying thousands of households and pushing men into poverty.
I know that this page that I have is about being divorced, but divorced and dating. So I was divorced after 25 years. And now I'm just kind of I'm back in the dating pool. I'm dating. I'm 58 and I'm dating. I was married for 25 years. I'm 58 and I'm dating. And I'm dating my age. I'm not dating, I'm dating my age. So those are in my age range. Back in the day, there were a lot of gentlemen, like, even if they were kind of open the door or you carried your bags, kind of, I don't know. It felt like it was. I kind of want to go, what happened? What happened to that What happened? I mean, do they just not open doors anymore? Do they just not carry your bags anymore? Is everything 50-50? Is I buy a meal this day and then you buy a meal the next day? What is that? What is that? Because if I can open my own door and I can carry my own bags, put fuel in my car, send out to get gas in the middle of the night, wash my own car. What's the point of being in a relationship? Because you want me to cook and clean and take care of you like a secretary. You want me to take care of your bills. You want me to file your papers. You want me to make phone calls for you. You want me to carry on the feminine side of a female, but you don't want to do the man shit? What's the point of being in a relationship? Just asking. Just asking for a friend. Just asking.
The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Now she complains about her new partner because he's not a gentleman. She's 58. This isn't her prime anymore. Clearly, no one is going to take care of her the way they did when she was 20. No one is going to provide for you. At this stage, it's your place and mine. Each person covers their own expenses. You see each other as individuals. There's no wife treatment when you're just a girlfriend. And just as no one expects wife treatment, people at that age are mostly trying to save money. If you get sick, believe me, beyond a visit, they're not going to spend on you. That's something a husband does. The man who stood by you for 25 years, the one who knows you now that you're older, the one who didn't want financial complications. But many women don't value that. They only realize it after the divorce, when they start missing everything their husband used to do for them. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do you think she walked away from a 25-year marriage at 58? What do you think about relationships being 50-50 at 55 and beyond? If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to create more content. Stay tuned for the next video on the wall.